You may feel like you are behind in life, but what if I told you that you're right on schedule? Some of us have been praying for specific things and we get frustrated like, God, where are you? And God is like, here I am. The whole time that you are whining, murmuring, and complaining, you are literally missing the blessing in the wilderness. See, the wilderness is not punishment for you, baby. It is positioning for you. It is positioning you to know exactly who God is for real, for real. It is positioning you to have more power, anointing, and authority in Him. It is positioning you to be able to stand firm in what God has called you to do and understand, baby, that you're not delayed, that you're being prepared. It is positioning you to put you into positions where you can get your breakthrough. You may feel that you are behind in your life. And I just want you to know today, don't believe the lie. Don't buy into the hype from below to try to convince you that what you're doing is real slow. See, you're not being delayed, but you are being developed. See, God is making a way for you, but at the same time, God is making you ready for the way. So the first thing I want you to do today is not to believe the lie. I want you to understand that I know how it feels to have pressures in my life to keep up with everyone else. Sometimes our mind would get out ahead of us and we would begin to look on social media. We would begin to look at the pressures around us. We'll begin to think that at a certain age, we're supposed to be married. We're supposed to have this career, this house, this car, this boat, this friend group, this type of title, this established career. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. Because I want you to understand this, that God's way of developing you is not determined by a man's timeline. Baby, you're not disqualified at all. God is actually preparing you for the call because God takes His time to really thoroughly prepare those whom He loves. Your assignment is so big that it may be taking a little bit more time to prepare you for what God is calling you to do. And I just want to reach out and talk to you today to let you know, don't buy into the lie from hell. The second thing I want you to understand again is that God's process is not man's timeline. God prepares you in private for what He is going to do for you in your life in public. It's nothing like being pushed into a situation that you are not equipped to handle. It's nothing like being in a environment and you do not have the development, the character, the capacity, the preparation to really dwell in an environment. God takes His time sometimes, and He's not on man's timeline. The work that He's doing inside of you is divine work. Divine work in a human sense may seem slow, but in the spiritual form, it's happening really fast. See, I want you to understand that David was still anointed, but yet he went back to care for his sheep. The whole time he was caring for the sheep, God was developing his character. He was developing his reliance on Him. When people looked at David before the manifestation of what God has put him in the earth to do, it just looked like he was an old shepherd boy, maybe covered in leaves or dirt or whatever you want to call it. Looks can be deceiving because the entire time he was a king. And I want you to know that isolation and delay are often signs of preparation. See, when God cares about you, he isolates you. He will pull you out of situations, put you in what it seems like a physical time out. But that is a sure sign that that's not the case at all. God is literally taking his hands and molding you into what he knows that you can do in this earth. I want you to think about that. You are not behind. I remember so many times I was like, oh, by the time I'm this age, I'm going to have this going on for me. I'm going to have this done. And I remember thinking when it didn't happen that I really am behind in my life. Like I really messed up. Then I began to look at other people sometimes and where they have just, it was like clockwork for them. But what I've realized, particularly if you are chosen, it's like your journey is different from the mass majority of people. It just is. God will pull you out of the matrix long before you really physically exit the matrix. Some people have a traditional way that they've done things and it works and they just go ... But in your development as a chosen person, your process is always going to be different, because that preparation, God has breathed on that thing, and he wants to make sure that you are rooted in him to be able to bring glory back to him through what he's called you to do. I want you to know that the waiting season is working something in you for what's coming to you. And check this out. It's not punishment, but it's positioning. A lot of times we feel that we're being punished because we think that God is taking entirely too long to do what we want God to do for us. Some of us have been praying for specific things and we get frustrated like, God, where are you? And God is like, here I am. The whole time that you are whining, murmuring, and complaining, you are literally missing the blessing in the wilderness. See, the wilderness is not punishment for you, baby. It is positioning for you. It is positioning you to know exactly who God is for real, for real. It is positioning you to have more power, anointing, and authority in him. It is positioning you to be able to stand firm in what God has called you to do and understand, baby, that you're not delayed, that you're being prepared. It is positioning you to put you into positions where you can get your breakthrough. And I want you to understand this. According to James 1:4, the NLT translation says, so let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. So let it grow. Allow yourself to be at peace and extend yourself grace, understanding that in your waiting season, it is not being wasted. It's producing spiritual strength, character, and readiness. So let God do what he do. And I want you to understand, because a lot of times when we are in this frame of mind, when we feel like we're behind in our lives because of our age, our socioeconomic status at the time, our relationship status at the time, our career and personal development, the devil screams in our ears and in our thoughts to make us believe a lie. He makes us feel that because it hasn't happened yet that God has forgotten about us. He makes us yearn for something more than what we've yearned for God. He makes us be on a quest to have all this money and have all these things and lose our connection with the Most High. And I want to just reach out to remind you today that God has not forgotten about you. A lot of us fall into a position of anger and resentment because we feel that God has forgotten about us, because our life is not unfolding the way that we think it should unfold. But could it be that the whole time God is trying to get our attention to reposition us and not punish us, to equip us, prepare us, love on us, breathe on us, so that we can be who God knows that we were created to be? David was still that king, even though he was out there in that field with them shepherds. He was still anointed, and so are you. And I want you to know this. I have one other word for you that I thought was really, really good for this, that I took notes today. And it's a back of 2 and 3. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. See, God's timing may seem slow to you, but it's always right on time. He may not come when you want him to, baby. But I want to assure you today that he is always on time. I pray this word has blessed you, that it has enriched your life in such a way that it has planted a seed of hope and belief where it used to be doubt, anger, and fear. And I pray that it blesses you. If it has, please like this video, share it with somebody, because I want you to know today, baby, that your timing is not behind, and you're not behind, baby, but God is training you for your breakthrough. Peace, because I still be believing in you. Have a good day.